What's good, my people? Peace and blessings to the dope family. This channel exists solely for the enlightenment, survival, and maturation of men. Now, before we get into the knowledge, get into the game, go ahead and hit that subscribe and that like button and also the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Now, before we get into the thick of the content, I got an email I want to address from the homie Manny. Manny Shoal or Manny Soul. Manny, I know I'm butchering your last name, so feel free to correct me in the comment section, man. But Manny just reaching out, he wanted to show love and gratitude or whatever, but he had a couple questions for me. The first question being, how do you deal with haters and go about it? Sometimes I feel like I want to check them, and sometimes I feel like I don't want to let that get to me. So that was his first question. And pretty much to answer his question, man, haters gonna do what they do. They gonna hate, Haters are really people who admire what you do and how you move. You gotta look at them as fans who admire your talents, because pretty much they're unable to perform at the level that you're able to perform. It can be something as simple as how you dress. People hating because your shirt too flashy, probably because they don't have the confidence to wear a shirt that flashy. So it is what it is, man. They're pretty much admiring you from a distance or admiring you in the comment section. So the word admiration and hate is interchangeable. So once you program your mind to change out those words, you will no longer feel like it's hate, or you will no longer feel like you have haters. You will feel like you have admirers or fans. You know what I mean? So the second question he had for me was, how do you go or feel about this new social media age? Do you feel like it's best to just meet these women in person, since they have all these dudes in their DMs? Just curious. So to answer that question, man, I suggest go face to face. Keep it all the way old school, man. Face to face is high risk, high reward, because she can feed off of you, man. She can feed off of your aura. You know what I mean? And you can immediately introduce sexual tension if you choose to do so. Just being masculine today is all it really takes, because the energy of the world is feminine for the most part. And the online approach, hopping in a girl's DMs is low risk, low reward. Reason being because that platform gives you access to thousands of women, and you're able to hop in a girl's DMs with no repercussion, from the comfort of your home. You could be butt naked on your couch hollering at chicks, and it doesn't force you to be high quality, high value. Now, if you're a wordsmith, some of us are sick with the words, you know what I'm saying? And we're able to put our essence of who we are in our words, so a woman can feel our value through a text conversation. But everybody's not capable, everybody's not able, so it's low risk, low reward. I mean, you can shoot your shot at thousands of women and you're guaranteed to get a bite or two, but it's pretty much going to result back to face. So if you hop in the girl DMs, the end result should be, I'm trying to meet you face to face as quickly as possible, because the texting back and forth, all you're doing is validating her. You know what I mean? And she's hopping conversation to conversation with the next man who told her, hey, beautiful, or good morning. But let's go ahead and get into this knowledge, man. Let's just get straight to it. No longer do we live in a world where men are unapologetically men. We live in a time where a man speaks his mind and is apologizing the next morning for his views or opinion, simply to be liked by the majority. And to add to that, they are apologizing for things they said 5, 10, 15 years ago. We're being coached to express our feelings publicly to a culture that could care less about your well-being. We're being conditioned to accept women as a more dominant figure and men as the more feminine entity. It's perfectly fine for women to highlight and make a mockery of a man's inadequacies, like his height or him being broke, his lack of funds. Now, I don't bring these things from, front and center as complaints. Of course not. I mean, if you're on this channel, and understand these things to be true. I bring this up only to highlight how the feminine principles are being exalted throughout society, from speech to to clothing, commercials, movies, TV shows, you name it, man, it's feminized. So much so that the oversaturation of feminine energy is beginning to bleed over into the way men are wired these days. Which brings me to the topic of the video, man. High feminine energy in the man is dangerous. To be clear, I'm not speaking to the feminine energy a man of the LGBTQ community submits himself to or identifies as. So spare me in the comment section, man. Just keep it. This is specifically aimed at men who identify as masculine men. A lot of men were raised predominantly by their mothers in the streets. Streets meaning close friends they ran with, in the entertainment industry, from rappers to athletes and anybody else outside of their immediate influence. The problem with this is when a boy is raised only by a woman, this is who he's around most of the time. He sees how she handles things. He hears the conversation she has. He gets advice about his girls from his mother. And he's just constantly exposed to feminine ways and feminine energy. It's only natural that he starts to adopt some of these mannerisms and beliefs. It takes a special woman to single-handedly raise a boy, because a woman does not have the tools to usher a boy into manhood. The best she can do is give him stability at home to promote a sound mind so that he one day can find his way and earn his stripes through trial and error. And this is exactly what my mother did for me. She would often emphasize, son, I can't teach you to be a man. And what this told me is that she's teaching me and raising me to be a decent human being. And when it comes to this manhood, that is up to the way I interact with my life's journey, with the path that I take, And on a side note, man, my mother actually listens to my channel. You know what I'm saying? And never once has she had anything to say about the content. Never once did she say I need to lighten up, ease up, go easy on them. Nah, because she know what I'm saying is real. She know this content and this channel is going to stand tall on truth. But anyways, man, shout out to my dukes, But let me give you a few examples and then we'll get into the dangerous aspects. The first example I'm going to give you is the man who's only received advice from the feminine standpoint on women. The guy who's been hearing his whole life, happy wife, happy life, and she's the prize, and have been living by this mantra his whole life. Because make no mistake, you hear something long enough, you start to believe it. You believe it, you start to repeat it. And it becomes a way of life for you and a mantra that you end up saying to justify your lack of masculine aura. You say things like, man, my girl, my wife wanted me to do this, that, and the third, and I ain't want to. I thought it was stupid, to be honest, but you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. On a side note, man, you gotta get that, what they say, man, is out of your vocabulary, man. Who is they? What do you believe in? What do you stand on and implement in your life because it's what you live by? What's your mantra? But yeah, these guys believe wholeheartedly that the woman is the prize, and don't get me wrong, let me be very clear when I say a high quality woman is indeed a prize and a premium addition to your life, but her value should never supersede or negate altogether your value as a high value, thorough man. And this is the mentality of a simp. A man who proudly and aggressively forks out his resources to an undeserving woman who claims she is the prize, but brings nothing to the table and adds no value to his life. A high quality woman understands she is adding to his kingdom and providing him a level of comfort and peace of mind, and in return, she receives the perks and amenities that comes with being the queen of the king that turns everything he touches to gold. Keep in mind on this channel, I only speak of high quality, high value men and women when I refer to how things should be. But let me move to the next example before I go off on a tangent. But the next example would be the guy who has made women the number one priority in his life. Agreeing with everything they say, putting on a cape for every movement they have, including the ones against men. Pretty much pedestalizing the pink. When you get a man whose every move revolves around getting a woman or making a woman happy, these are the guys who tend to be the beta male simps. Who would throw dirt on your name to lift himself up in her eyes, talk behind your back, create rumors, fabricate lies that he himself ends up believing, all in the name of having more women than you, or not even having more than you, but you having less than you already have. So many males have been trained to be led by feminine energy, being so agreeable and submissive to women, all in hopes of having a high body count or just getting a piece. Now that's just two, but there's countless examples of a man displaying feminine behavior. Now where it gets dangerous is when a man's masculinity is controlled by high levels of feminine behaviors and belief systems. The man who shows high levels of emotional instability. The guy who drinks the Kool-Aid and buys into the feminist ideas and masculinity is toxic by nature bull. But what's crazy is these are the dudes who put tracking apps on their girls' phones. The dudes who make posts trying to look hard one day and the next day, they crying and snotting, looking into the camera, begging his ex to come back. Why did you leave? Yeah, these types of dudes, man. These guys are so out of touch with their masculinity that they can't control their feminine nature. These dudes are a danger to themselves and others, man. They'll snap and either get themselves killed from wilding out too much or end up killing someone else from being hyper emotional. Now, of course, this is worst case scenario or the most extreme case, but not far-fetched at all. These are the dudes you see who preach that a strong woman is attractive and quickly realize being the feminine partner in a relationship is not what they signed up for. So they make attempts through arguments and acts of aggression to gain whatever dignity and respect they can salvage in hopes that she'll submit, but that ship is sailed, brother. You've entered the relationship to submitting to her and worshiping her strength in a role reversal type of sense. Stay with me. So now she's losing attraction for you because those same feminine qualities she found attractive in you at first, like the cute talk, the cuddling, constant praise, being up under her 24/7, the never-ending validation you give her, and even the oversaturation of communication becomes a turnoff, and now you both are repulsed by the very qualities you once praised about each other. You both begin to try to capture that masculine essence, and she also wants to bring that out of you because ultimately women want a man they feel comfortable with submitting to, and a man that brings out their feminine side in the utmost way in the purest form. That's why they pick random fights at times, because they need to feel that raw energy. The emotional feminine man is so caught up in being right that he matches her feminine energy, not understanding that her nagging is simply a cry for help to release her feminine all over your masculine. You feel me? But you're so caught in your emotions and so caught in your feelings that you truly believe you can outperform her emotions. You can out-emotion her. And that's where it's the most dangerous, because these dudes eventually snap uncontrollably. But in summary, a man's natural default mode of existence is in his masculine frame, and a woman's default mode of existence is the polar opposite, in being feminine, which provides balance. It makes sense. You have a lot of role reversals in today's societal structure through demonizing masculinity in men while praising women who mimic these same masculine traits, and also indoctrinating men into believing it would benefit them to embrace, advocate, and become more feminine themselves. So men, you have to be honest with yourself. If you identify with more feminine traits than masculine, you have to be real with yourself so you can make that adjustment. It's the only way you can provide balance to your life in all aspects, from all angles. And when possible, don't associate yourself with low caliber men to prevent any backsliding and relapsing. You become who you spend most of your time with, and these emotionally unstable dudes can be very detrimental to your purpose, your goals, and your kingship. But like I always say, man, it's a hard journey, but a necessary journey of maturation. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. Hit that like button and the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. And feel free to email me at dopediscourse@gmail.com. Shout out to the homie Manny again. But until next time, my dope family, I'm out.